In this video, I show you a mountain of pornography. Then, show you my gentleman's area. Take you back to the 80s, and I try to build an amazing computer. Welcome to my living room, where the plants are green, the furniture is brown, and the couches are ugly. And in my living room, there is a computer. Specifically, it's my computer. It was built around the same time Alan Turing was cracking the Enigma code. In fact, it houses the Wolfdale Core 2 Duo processor, a processor that was popular during the late 1800s. This memory, it's DDR2. It's ancient! And look here, children today will never know the joy of knowing what this is. And I won't explain it, because I can't be bothered. This computer then should belong in an unnatural history museum, because there is no way a computer this old should still be working. It has served me faithfully for almost 10 years. So it's time to say goodbye to this tired, aching old bastard, so it can rest its cycles in peace. So today, what we're going to be doing is the same thing you do to anything that's old, aging, aching. You replace it by something new. And what we're going to do today is build me a new computer. Now behind me is a mountain of components, which I've stolen from my local hardware shop, and I shall be using these to build the damn thing. But there was a small problem. I haven't built a computer in almost 10 years, and I have no idea what I was doing. One thing I do know is that before you fiddle around with any bare electronics, you must always touch your pipe. Any pipe will do, either the one in your bathroom or the one in your kitchen. Now this is the motherboard I have chosen. The Asus Republic of Gamers Rampage V Edition 1.0 Rev.1.00. It's big, it's black. And you know what they say about things that are black. It's easier to color coordinate black with other components in your system. Now, Asus sort of forced my hand on this one. I didn't really have a choice but to buy this behemoth. This motherboard comes with one of the best accessories, a USB DAC. What this does is that it turns noise into beautiful music. Unfortunately, someone forgot to tell Asus that nobody uses a 5 1/4 inch bay anymore. Which is why my case choice got limited to this, the Corsair Air 540. It's a giant cube with 2 chambers, which gives you lots of space in the back to hide your cables, cocaine, or perhaps a very small nuclear warhead. But most importantly, it has these 2 5 1/4 inch bays, vertically mounted for maximum stupidity. Now at this point, I was trying to mount the motherboard, but because the Air 540 is such a square case, I was having some difficulty. Oh, here we go. This works. Right. With that not properly installed, I moved on to this. This is the beating heart of the entire operation. It's built by Intel, and it has 6 cylinders in a flat 6 configuration. This and the engine in a Porsche GT3 RS, exactly the same.
It's even turbocharged, just like the engine. I wonder if it makes the same wastegate noise.
It is important to note that this processor is made from conflict-free materials, and that if you buy anything else, you are a cruel, woeful, and hateful person who likes to use poor people for your advantage.
Right, what's next? Oh, this is the water cooling kit for the processor we just discussed. Why does Corsair insist on including these weak, pathetic, useless fans? Honestly, if you want an asthmatic person cooling your radiator, you get one of those fans. But if you want the pushing power of a Category 5 Hurricane, you get one of these.
The Noctua Industrial PPC 2000.
Actually, I will be needing 2 of these. They're not kidding about the industrial name, you know. These are rated IP67. No idea what that means. But I am told that they are 100% immune to dust, and they can be submerged in a meter of water. These are used to save lives, you know. Mother Teresa had 4 of these.
I then installed Katrina and Sandy onto my radiator.
There, done.
And mounted the radiator to the top of my case. Okay, I honestly think that the introduction of Intel's LGA land grid array 10 years ago with the LGA 775 socket is a huge farce. The fragile pins now sit on the motherboard instead of the processor. Yes, Intel, it's so much easier to RMA a giant motherboard than to RMA a tiny processor. Such a brilliant idea. So I couldn't take any chances with this and used the CPU installation kit that Asus has kindly provided, which pretty much guarantees 0 destruction of pins, just as long as you're not being a dithering idiot. You simply have to pop the processor in the latch, bend it over, and close the latch. The most nerve-wracking job, done with ease.
Now comes the tricky part, installing the thermal paste. Now what you're supposed to do is to put thermal paste the size of a grain of rice.
Unfortunately, I put the entire rice bowl on there. Fortunately, I still had some of the packaging on, so cleaning up my mess was very easy. I then applied, without being an imbecile, the right amount of thermal paste. I was extremely pleased with the new LGA 2011 mounting. There is no backplate, and it's all there. I always hated installing CPU coolers in the past, because just like my sex life, I could never get it right the first time. I always hated it, but with this, it's easy! You simply have to install the base screws, put the heatsink on top of it, and tighten the 4 screws. Look at that!
Now, choosing a memory for your computer is not a very easy task. It takes hours of research and very careful consideration. You want something with many megahertz and the lowest of latencies. It's very tricky, this. But then I came across this.
The Corsair Dominator Platinum. And discovered that these glow white when they're turned on. I immediately decided that this was the best choice for my computer, and proceeded to buy 4. With my choice carefully picked, it came time to do the tricky installation.
Now this is brilliant. What Asus has done here is that they have color coordinated their memory slots to your RAM. You see these gray slots right here? They match up with the gray on top of your RAM. And you simply just pop it in, like that. Very clever. Now I have decided to go with 4 memory sticks instead of just 1. And this allows me to open up to 4 tabs in Google Chrome. Very useful.
Next, it was the business of installing a video card, which, as it turned out, to be a hard choice, because I don't like Nvidia very much.
I have bought the 1080, Asus ROG Strix version, appropriately named, to avoid the head is green that festoons all Nvidia cards. Couple of problems with these though. Firstly, the price. I don't understand this, but there's still a $100 to $150 premium on these cards. Secondly, availability. It's the end of August, and trying to find one of these cards is like trying to find extraterrestrial life. You know it exists somewhere out there, but you don't know how or where to find it. And as far as I can work out, the display ports are not working with the HTC Vive. So they should correct this. Just put almost VR ready.
But you, or I, or anyone cannot ignore the sheer power of this video card and the ferocity at which it delivers it. Currently, it's reigning supreme as the king of all high-end desktop gaming video cards, and it's doing so with a very comfortable margin. And just like that guy eating caviar during Occupy Wall Street protests, this card mocks the conceit of those that are beneath it. And I like that. Soon though, this card will lose its title to the 1080 Ti. But for now, this monster is going to have to do.
This is where I will be storing my operating system. Now, I got nothing clever to say about this, except the fact that if you ever get caught with questionable items stored on this thing, and you are going to jail for it, you will be able to sneak this into jail with you, and sharpen one of its edges, and use it as a shiv. There is a slight problem with that plan though. Using it as a shiv will void your 5-year warranty.
Lastly, it was the turn of the power supply, the EVGA Supernova P2 1000. Its little brother, the 850 P2, comes with a lot of praise and much love from the PC building community, which means I am going to get a wave of emails complaining about the fact that I've went with 1000 watts instead of 850, and that I have, and as usual, overdone it, like the Russians did on their visit to Crimea in 2014. I also took the liberty of replacing the front stock fans with some ugly Noctua ones, because they're awesome. I then installed the USB DAC, which looks idiotic mounted sideways. Look at it! It looks stupid!
But my struggle is far from over, because now I face my toughest test yet. A battle that has claimed the lives of many brave souls. A process so unfathomable that it has stumped some of the greatest minds in this world. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the lost art of cable management.
You were the adversary, but I wield the ultimate weapon of war.
And lastly, but not leastly, I want to install some runway lights. And since one's never enough, I bought 3 more.
Day by day, we stray away from the light of God. But these lights, they will put the fear of God back into your soul. This is the last piece of the setup, which means I can finally cue the montage. I am extremely pleased with this. It has been far too long. Extreme computers and tech have surrounded me my whole life, but I've never had the privilege of owning a computer this brilliant and powerful myself. Now I know most of you are sleeping with models, flying fighter jets, and hosting big Hollywood parties on your yachts, and that brings you joy. But this is my little bastion of happiness. Even though I still can't find the E3 demo preset in my video quality settings for my games, I am however now able to crank everything to ultra. In fact, by the time you're done watching this video, this computer has already helped me edit, color grade, and master audio for 3 separate YouTube videos, and helped me stream well over 2 hours of high definition footage in solid 60 frames per second. And you know what? That is just the beginning. Yeah, you like that, Yuri? Oh, hi there. Didn't know you were still here. Well, while I've got you here, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if you liked the video. Or don't if you don't want to. And follow me and leave a comment if you're watching this on vid.me. Or don't if you don't want to. Also remember that badass motherboard I showed you in the beginning? Yeah, I made a review video about it, so don't forget to check it out. Finally, if you like what I'm doing here, then head over to my Patreon page and lend a brother a hand. That's it. Stay bouse. Thanks.